morning, Marcus.
Hey.
I wanted to take a chance just for our listeners to zoom in on a lot of the uncertainty we're currently seeing within the European carbon space. As experts on this, it'd be good to understand a little bit in terms of what we're seeing and how we're supporting our markets and clients on this. So maybe to start off with, we, of course, tracking the fundamentals. Do we see fundamentally the market supporting what we're seeing when it comes to the kind of pricing dynamics right now?
Yeah, look, I mean, what happened over the past 2-3 weeks was quite unprecedented, I would say, because we have seen a lot of political sentiment that brought prices much lower compared to where we see them fundamentally. So our fundamental models predict the market to be extremely tight this year and next year. So the market balances are going to be in the range of minus 180, 190 million tons compared to 60 million tons last year. So massive step change, which in our view should bring up prices much higher compared to where they are now, so close to 70. And lots of that kind of price divergence, I would say, compared to where prices should be fundamentally and where they are currently, is the preparation for the EU ETS review, which is going to take place in Q3 this year, where a lot of stakeholders are currently positioning themselves.
So let's just maybe zoom in on that, because fundamentally the market is ultimately tighter, and it's the policy that's driving this. I know that we are very close to the policymakers and having discussions. You're off to Brussels next week. Maybe you can talk a little bit in terms of what is it that is currently under the microscope that's creating this uncertainty?
Well, the ETS review means you're basically opening up the political and regulatory framework that will guide the market for the next 10-15 years, right? So this market is supposed to go into its end game, right? It's supposed to reach kind of zero allowances by 2039 in kind of current regulatory terms, which means no allowances being issued to the market as of 2039 onwards. That obviously creates a lot of abatement pressure in the market, which is expensive. So at the moment, there is a very heated discussion, I would say, on how to make Europe competitive on like industrial terms, right? Industrial competitiveness is key also for the upcoming March Council, where there will be lots of talks around how to make it in a way easier for European industrials to survive at geopolitically difficult times, but also at difficult times in terms of energy prices. But at the same time, not to deviate from the climate agenda, right? So Europe is currently legislating its 2040 target. That means 90% emission reductions by 2040 compared to 1990, with a bit of flexibility here. And in a way, a net zero target by 2050 for the entire European economy. So Europe will not reach this target without a very strong and ambitious EU ETS.
And so clearly there is a level of uncertainty around that. I mean, how long do we see this playing out? Are there any key stage gates our clients should be looking out for kind of coming up in the short to medium term? And what do we see this meaning from kind of the market price and the uncertainty that we're currently facing?
I think there's mini stage gates and macro stage gates. So we're obviously monitoring all of them. So mini stage gates means like you, in a way, at the moment need to follow all the important stakeholders in order to understand kind of what it means to markets in terms of fundamentals, who carries the weight to probably push this politically, and where's probably a bit of noise involved, right? So kind of really carefully watching the different narratives is very important on an ongoing basis. And then, as I said, there is the March Council coming up, which will be more around competitiveness and not so much about the EU ETS itself, but it plays obviously a role. So the really big and important legislative proposal that's going to be tabled is going to see the light of the earth in Q3. We're not exactly sure when, because that's up to the Commission to decide when it's going to be tabled. But this is where all eyes are basically, or where everyone is looking to kind of get a hands on that proposal, to then basically start the legislative and regulatory work on the basis of this. And this will take 1.5 to 2 years after it's tabled. So there is going to be a lot of ups and downs on that way.
Great. And I think, I know for us as a company, we are tracking this very, very closely. And this is the first of a number of these types of sessions we're going to be doing and sharing with the market our thoughts on short-term signals and price views, as well as tackling the key topics that we think are fundamentally driving market sentiment and the appetite for information. So we look forward to sharing more of that coming up. And Marcus, thank you very much for your time. We are, of course, very, very much focused on being the market leader when it comes to anything around policy and regulation and ultimately the low carbon markets. Thank you very much.